You are listening to As a Woman, Episode 18, The Infertile Friend. Join me as we talk about supporting your friends in their fertility journeys. Learn to be that support person by channeling empathy over sympathy. Listen to what it is like to struggle with infertility and what you should and should not be doing when your friends are having fertility problems. Learn to be the best friend that you can.
Welcome to As a Woman, the podcast hosted by fertility physician Dr. Natalie Crawford to educate and empower women. Each week, learn about your health, your fertility, and how they relate to your true self. Become a part of the community fostering collaboration over competition while learning how to authentically find your voice and amplify others as a woman.
Hi, friends. Welcome back to As a Woman, the podcast. This is episode 18, The Infertile Friend. And here is where I'm starting. Infertility impacts 1 out of every 8 women. 1 out of every 4 clinically recognized pregnancies will end in a miscarriage. This means women in your life are suffering, struggling, crying, and in isolation. This may be you. This may be you now. This may be you in the future. You may have zero problem having kids. You may not want kids. But this does not mean that infertility will not impact you. In fact, statistically speaking, it will almost certainly impact you. The question is, are you a good enough friend to notice? Are you a good enough friend to be there? Are you a good enough friend to know what to do? And what does it mean to be a friend to somebody with infertility? Let's be really honest here. If you are struggling to get pregnant or losing pregnancies, let's be real. This is hard. It is hard to have infertility. It is hard to be left behind. It is hard to be happy for your peers getting pregnant, having baby showers, holding their babies without feeling hurt in your heart. It is hard to see what everyone else is doing and not be jealous. It's hard not to tell your friends because you don't want to burden them. It is hard to feel like there's a hole in your heart where a child should go. And it is hard on your marriage to suffer together. The pressure you put on each other, it's intense. It is all hard. And if you have infertility, if you have heartbreak, you need people. You need your supporters. You need your tribe. But you don't want to burden other people with your hurt. And if you're the friend with someone of infertility, I know you want to help. I know the last thing you want is to isolate your friend more. I know the last thing you want is to push your friend away. You want to be there to help, but you don't want to burden others with your joy. But where does this leave the friendship? The infertile friend is suffering, but doesn't want to burden the other friend with hurt. And the non-infertile friend wants to support, but doesn't want to burden the other with her joy. 2 friends who both love each other, who both need each other, but who are both too worried about the burden of their own emotions. And so they fall apart. They silently drift away. They both pull apart independently and not calculated. This is not a purposeful ending of a friendship or a purposeful split in the relationship. It just happens passively. Because remember, the lack of action itself is an action. Not reaching out to your friend who needs your support, that's an action. Not reaching out to your friend when you need support, that's an action. Listen to me. It is almost certain that you will be on one side of this relationship, one or the other. You're either going to be the infertile friend or the friend of the woman with infertility. This is true. And here is my question for you. What will happen? What will happen to your friendship? When we are too fearful of our own emotions and too fearful of how others will react, we let ourselves be separated. We let fear become the biggest burden of all. And one of the biggest questions here that I have for you is, do you understand the difference in sympathy or empathy? But let's be really concrete. Let's take it back and be simple. About a year ago, I asked women about the things that they have been told or the things that were said to them that hurt the most when it came to their infertility. So just listen. Maybe it wasn't meant to be. Just keep trying. Relax. Lose weight. It's in God's hands. Just adopt. At least it was early. It wasn't really a baby. You're still young. There must be something wrong with you. IVF babies are unnatural. It really isn't that big of a deal. Everything happens for a reason. Maybe you aren't meant to be a mother. Just stop thinking about it. It'll happen when it's supposed to happen. Stop trying so hard. Maybe you don't know how to have sex. You're too stressed out. You already have a child. Stop being greedy, wanting more. The universe knew you weren't ready to be a parent. Just move on. Be glad that you don't have kids. You can have my kids. Okay, I can tell. Some of these things, maybe somebody was trying to lighten the mood. Maybe they were trying to make a joke, but it's hurtful, you guys. Do not be that person. And listen to those things again. People do not need you to try to make sense of the world for them. We don't need an explanation. We don't need a reason. We don't need some rational cause for why I am suffering and you are not. That is not empathy. And so, what is empathy? Empathy is getting down on someone's level, climbing into the hole with them and making them feel not alone. Understanding the vulnerability. That is empathy. And when I ask that question, I ask the counter also. What are the good things? What are the things that made you feel supported? The best things you heard when you were struggling with infertility? And listen to these. Notice the difference. I'm so sorry. This really sucks. I can't imagine what this must feel like for you. I don't know what to say, but I'm here for you. You did nothing wrong. I am right here beside you. I'm not giving up hope for you. I want to help you. How are you feeling? What can I do to make your life easier? Hugs. I'm praying for you. Tell me anything. Nothing is too personal or too hard. I am here. You have the right to be feeling every emotion that you are feeling. You are a mother to an angel in heaven. You are allowed to be sad. I'm 100% behind you no matter what you decide to do. How is your heart feeling? Reaching out on the hard days. I love you. How can I help you grieve? You are so strong. I am so proud of you. You are not alone. This is so unfair. I hate that you're going through this. It is okay to be mad. And so the real thing here, the real difference is the difference in feeling emotions or not. The difference in acceptance, acknowledgement, and vulnerability. The difference is not trying to sweep things under the mat, make an excuse, or rationalize. This is not trying to pretend like it's not happening. Those things do not help. Sympathy is feeling bad for someone. Sympathy is superficial. It has no depth. It doesn't help. You can feel sorry for somebody and not feel anything for them. But empathy, that is feeling with someone. You are acknowledging, you are giving a voice to their emotion, you are accepting the way that they are feeling. You are trying to understand, and you are giving their vulnerability a safe space. And I'm going to say that again. You are giving their vulnerability a safe space. How powerful is that? And this is really what life is about. Life is about people, connection, shared experiences. It won't all be good. It won't all be bad. It won't all be easy. It won't all be hard. And I think this is why there's so much power in online support. The Instagram, TTC community, the Facebook fertility groups, and more. Sharing a common experience is powerful. It bonds you. Having somebody else understand you is so meaningful. But the allowance of anonymity within these platforms sometimes leads us to have two separate lives. So the woman struggling with infertility is living one life online and getting a lot of support, but living a very different life in her real world. The life surrounding her online support, those are people who only know a portion of herself and maybe not even your real identity. But the people who know us in the real world, they don't really understand this huge portion of our heart in this huge struggle because we do not share. And if you don't share, how can people be supportive? How do we even give them the opportunity to step up to the challenge? How do we give them the chance to be there for us if we don't tell them, if we don't share our story, if we don't open up our heart into a little bit of vulnerability into that space? We must allow others in to try to receive their support. And friends, we really do not need to live as two separate people. We don't need two different lives. We are one person. You are one person. It needs to all make sense in your heart. Keeping the secrets, hiding the truth, that's the breeding ground for internal conflict and anxiety. And trust me, internal conflict and anxiety, that leads to unhappiness. You don't need all this stuff in your life. You do not need conflict, anxiety, unhappiness. What you need is love and support and happiness. You need to be you, and you need to have people who are ready to support you. You deserve that. And if you are the friends of people struggling, you need to be the people who are there for them and providing support and love. Finding a group of people who support, love, and inspire you, that is essential. It's really essential in life. You need to surround yourself with people who get you. Find your tribe. Find the people who care about you. Find the people who would do anything for you. They will pick up your kids when you're running late, sit with you at the doctor's office, read the draft of your book, promote your own success as if it is their own. Those are your people. Those people, they will support you when you are struggling, when you get sick, when you miscarry, when you need love, when the worst things that we can't even imagine happen. They will be there for you. And you need those people. And you need to be those people for the people in your life. I have these people, and I'm so lucky and fortunate. But it took me a really long time to figure out that the key is vulnerability. See, friendship is not about surrounding yourself with just people you like or people who are like you. It is important to like your friends, yes, but the most important thing is learning how to be vulnerable around other people. Being vulnerable is about being open about your weaknesses, open about your fears, open about your struggles. Being vulnerable is essential if you want to find an authentic tribe. And I'm over here talking about all of this from a position of experience because I previously believed that vulnerability was a weakness, that strong women were just that, strong. Strong women don't show weakness. They are a pillar of strength, even to their closest friends and family. And I was wrong. That is not at all the case. The truth is that real strength comes from vulnerability. Vulnerability gives you power. And this strength and power, that comes from acknowledging what's really in your heart and how you feel about it. Living authentically is living without internal conflict. The truth that is in your heart, they're out on your sleeve, and that is a good thing. Otherwise, they will cripple you. Things that you keep trapped inside will cripple you because you fail to acknowledge them. If you are living authentically, acknowledging your fears, acknowledging your struggles, being vulnerable, then these things can no longer burden you because you do not hide them away and there's no shame. You are being open and accepting of others' help. The truth is that when you hide things away, they control you. They cripple you, they become a weight, they become a burden. When you have people you can lean on, giving you strength, showing you that you guys are stronger together, that's the real power. And this wasn't always me. Even when it was me and my own fertility struggles, I told nobody. Part of it was the burden of shame for having infertility. Part of it was acknowledging that I wanted something that I had no control over if I could achieve or not, right? I want to be a mom and have a kid. I'm losing pregnancies. Maybe I have no control over this. Being so fearful to set a goal out there that I may not be able to accomplish. And so I didn't tell. I didn't tell my mom, my closest friends when I was miscarrying. I didn't tell anybody. Those of you who know my story know that I didn't even really open up until I had an ectopic pregnancy, that we'd had all these fertility issues. And It's not that I don't love my friends and family. I do. I didn't even give them the opportunity to step up, and they would have done it. I was too afraid of the burden that I would be placing on them that I let it create a wedge. And then I got into the position, well, how can I tell them now? They don't even know about that. And I felt more and more alone, more and more isolated. As my friends were having baby showers and births and parties, I was suffering alone. And guys, it did me no good. There was no purpose for that. Hiding that feeling and that fear, letting that fear control me, not wanting to burden others with my own emotions, put me into a state that's not healthy. My friends and family are great. They totally would have stepped up, but I didn't give them the chance. And when I see other women in the same position, I want to say, learn from my own mistakes. There is power in sharing, not just because you inspire others, because you do. When you are open about your own struggles, you do inspire others. That's amazing. But also, you open up your heart to receive, and you can receive the love and support from others. There are people in your life who want to give it to you. People in your life, whether it's infertility or not, who want to support you in the hard moments. They want to support you during that job change. They want to drink champagne when you quit your job. They want to throw you the baby shower. They want to cry. They want to take you to your DNC. You have those people. You have to let them be there for you. And so this is my real challenge for you in this episode. I want you to find your tribe. It's one of the hardest and most important things you will do. You have to open your heart up, show your true self, and be vulnerable. And that is brave. That is scary. Opening yourself up and being vulnerable opens you up to heartbreak. But you also open yourself up to find your real inner strength. And so, how do you find your real tribe? Ask yourself honestly if you feel comfortable being open and vulnerable with the people around you. And if you're not, I am asking for a ruthless editing of our lives. Ruthless. Because it is okay to say something isn't right for you. It is understandable to need more. Superficial relationships and friendships will not get you anywhere. It will change your life to surround yourself with people who support you no matter what. People who want the best for you, and the best is whatever you want. People who are there for you when the shit hits the fan. And it is okay to demand that of the people in your life. We all need a tribe. We all need people. Life is about relationship and connection, and it is not meant to be lived alone. There is no point in developing a superficial relationship with the people around us or the people who drain your energy. Let us encourage each other to be open, vulnerable, and see the world around us authentically, being ourselves, not living two separate lives, leaning into those relationships who provide support and value and make us a stronger person. That's where you want to go. That is what is really going to change your life. And so thank you for listening today. I want to end by saying, let us remember to be that person, to be the person who shows empathy and supports all the women around us. Let us remember how sensitive infertility is and not stay silent and only increase the stigma. Let us openly acknowledge the difficulties so many women have when trying to get pregnant, and let us support each other in the way that we want to be supported. And so, friends, thank you so much for listening today. I know this is a lot, but I really believe that women in general are letting the burden of our own fear, the fear of burdening others with our joy, our happiness, our support, our struggle, our burden, that burden is breaking us. Whether it is that the relationship isn't strong enough or that we can't reach inside and be vulnerable, and therefore we're not allowing the relationship to grow where it is. And I want to challenge you all that you deserve better. You deserve to be that type of friend. And if you are that type of friend, you deserve to get that support from others when you need it. So feel free to follow along on my Instagram at nataliecrawfordmd and check out the website, nataliecrawfordmd.com. In addition, always send over questions, comments. I appreciate every review and rating and everything you guys have done for this podcast. It is incredible. I can't believe we are at over 110,000 unique downloads. Woohoo! And next week, we are going to be listening to episode 19, Stop the Gossip. Have a good one.